That's a Ferrari. Dun, dun, dun. That's got some mass to it. That is a differential. Huh. Wow, I love physics. Woo, why am I sweating? Little tippy tap. The mystery of differentials. Frustration, frustration. That's not normal. The nut splitter tool. Battery's dead. Still very nervous. How do you welcome everybody to episode 31 of the 240SX2JZ swap. In today's episode, we are replacing the old and tired VLSD that came with this 240SX with a clutch type OS Giken LSD. The problem with the VLSD that came in this thing is that it is just super unreliable. I mean, sometimes it'll decide to do a one-wheel peel, and that can get pretty sketchy when you're going at some substantial speeds. So I'm gonna quit yapping. We're gonna get the back of this car jacked up, put on jack stands, and then we're gonna see about getting that differential out. So let's get it. The heck? Look at that. That's a Ferrari. All right, so here's our drive shaft. We've got the 4 bolts that go around there. Here are drive shaft shop axles, these beefy boys right here. And then we've got our diff bolts back here. There are 4 of them, diff nuts, I should say. And then there are 2 at the front. And that is it. That is all that's holding this puppy in. And I think, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take out the, I'm gonna have to take out this exhaust. Gosh darn it. Oh! Oh yeah, baby! Oh, there we go. Okay, our diff is drained, our axles are detached, so is our drive shaft. And now there are 4 nuts up here holding the diff to the subframe, 2 bolts up there doing the same. I'm gonna back these nuts off, but not completely take them off. And then I'm gonna undo those bolts up there. So let's get these loosened, and then we'll take out those bolts up front, and we'll get a jack under this thing so that we can hopefully lower it down. Let's do it. Okay, we have movement. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, wow. That's got some mass to it. Look at the spoils of our work. We've got it out. Very exciting. Next step, we're gonna take out the half shafts and then get the back cover off, and then we can start doing the swap. So let's get to it. Oh, yes. That is 1. Woo! That is 2. A hard-fought battle, but we won it nonetheless. Ooh. Yes. Yes, that is a differential, my friends. All right, so the cover is off, and now it's just time to take out the stock VLSD. It's just these 2 bolts on either side here on the caps, and this really should just come right out. I've seen people kind of take the handle of a hammer to kind of get some leverage, because I think it's kind of wedged in there. The one thing we have to make sure of is that there should be shims on one or both sides of the differential here, and we need to make sure that those stay, you know, on the proper side. Like, we can't mix them up. So I'm gonna be careful of that, but let's see if we can't get this thing apart. Ooh, that's in there. There it is. Woo! Now. Oh, there it is, baby. All right, again, we have to make sure we keep the shims in the right spot. Oh, okay. Ah. So the next steps is that we have to take this ring gear off the differential because that's getting swapped over to the new OS Giken LSD. And then we have to clean out the casing here with some brake clean and take out the these side seals. You can kind of see them. We're going to be replacing those. So we're going to take those out. But yeah, let's see if we can't get this, this ring gear off here. Oh, no power. Woohoo! There's our stock VLSD. There's our beautiful ring gear. I'm going to go clean this up with some brake cleaner. All right, now it's time to take out these nasty side seals. I'm going to be using a flathead and a trusty hammer to just knock them out. And yeah, should be pretty easy. Let's do it. Yay! One oil seal. That's dose. Now we just got to clean her up a bit. I missed a shim. That's like a... Holy crap, that's a massive shim. All right, we're gonna clean up the cover, but as you can see, there's this like, it's a gasket essentially that goes around the mating surface here. Doesn't look like we're gonna get lucky on that. All right, I'm gonna try heat. Yuck. Well, that's not working very well. All right, time to try something else. Oh man, I need like a respirator or something. Our nice clean cover. Except for that side, just don't look at that side. Just look at that side. Now, one of the things about this LSD install is that we actually need some different half shafts instead of the stock VLSD ones. So if you have an open differential, you don't need to do this step. But because I have the VLSD diff, the half shafts, these guys right here, those little dudes, those are different than the open differential half shafts. And if you want to install an OS Giken LSD, you need open differential half shafts. So that's what we have right here. I bought an open differential off a guy from Facebook Marketplace. Just tore out the half shafts and, you know, ditched the rest of the differential there. But anyway, they're not in the best shape, so I'm going to spray paint them black, just get a little protective coat of paint on them. And then, yeah, we'll continue with our install here. So I'm gonna go give these some paint. All right guys, so now that the pumpkin is cleaned up, I'm gonna go ahead and install our side oil seals here. So it comes pre-greased and ready to go, but you'll see that it has this protruding portion. This is the outside of the seal, it has this protruding portion, so you can't put a regular like bearing installer face on it. So what I have here is just a cap to one of my wife's like makeup products, and it just slips right over that, and it should help us install this seal without deforming it. So I'm gonna tap on this with a hammer, just like so, and we'll try to install it there. So there's the one seal. You can see, well, I guess it's kind of hard to tell, but it is flush. You can see if we go inside, it's the back of the seal is nearly flush with the inside. All right, everybody, now it's time to get working on putting our side conical bearings onto the diff here. So we have some brand new ones. Of course, I'll put the part number up on the screen, but here we are. Oh, hey, Skipper, how you doing? They're going to go on to the, it's the wrong size. I am very confused about that. All right, we're back with the proper bearings this time, so I'll throw that part number up on the screen, hit them on with this bearing installer here, and a hammer. So let's go ahead and do that now. That didn't work, and it's going on unevenly, so that's not good either. So we're gonna need a hydraulic press, I think. Well guys, here we are at my friend Evan's shop. You may remember him from the Legends car video. But anyway, he has a press, and we are using it to press in these bearings because I couldn't hammer them on because I'm too weak. So let's see what happens. Oh, let's go. It made a noise. Dude, I mean, that is perfect, bro.
Perfect, right?
Guys, it's perfect. Wow, I love physics. Woo! Look at that. The press solves all issues. Okay, so now it's time to mount the ring gear onto the differential now that we have the bearings pressed on. You can see I've kind of transitioned my whole workshop inside because it is frigid out in the garage and we don't have heat out there. So we're making do with what we can. But anyway, I've kind of mounted this up. My plan is just to put the differential kind of on top, use the dead blow here to just kind of situate it, and then we can bolt it in. And just so you know, there are some very specific ring gear bolts that need to be used for this specific differential installation. So I will put the part number of these guys up on the screen. You need 10 of them. But yeah, let's see what we can do here. Persuade him. There something goes. Whoo! Why am I sweating? Why am I sweating here? We look seated, babe. Looks to be seated. See if these thread in. I do have to put red Loctite on these ring gear bolts first, but just want to make sure that everything's lined up here. Well guys, my camera decided to like kill itself and did not record, so I'm recording this after I torqued down all of our ring gear bolts. And I just wanted to let you know, I don't have a bench vise, so I was not able to, you know, tighten this thing down and just go at it like normal. These ring gear bolts require about 140 pound-feet of torque, so I can't just, you know, hold it with one hand and torque with the other. So there's this clever thing that I didn't even know existed until I did some research. It is called a torque limiting extension bar. You hook this thing onto a nice beefy impact driver, like so. This is a wired one from Porter Cable. And each of these torque limiting bars are designed to a specific limiting torque. This one's 140 foot-pounds. And the way that it works, and this is fascinating to me, is that the engineers that make these design them so that it uses the material properties as well as this shank diameter here, so that once you apply a certain torque to this bar, the bar will twist. You know, you have to use an impact driver, but when you do those little impacts, it will get to a point where instead of applying torque to the bolt, the actual material in the extension bar will twist and it won't apply any more torque to the bolt, thus limiting the torque that is applied to whatever you're tightening down. So anyway, I used this, I recorded it, but then the camera decided it didn't want to save the recording. So anyway, that's all I did. I just hooked it up to this guy, went through crisscross pattern, went through. It was very easy. The next step, very exciting, and I am quite nervous for, is we actually have to put this into the carrier. So let's get to it. The moment of truth has arrived. We're about ready to put our diff into the carrier here. Apparently this is the hardest part of the whole operation, so I'm anticipating this not to go very well. The way that I think we are going to try to tackle this is to put all the shims and everything together and try to kind of put it in all as you know, in one go there. So let's see what happens. Okay. Little tippy tap. I don't know if you can see the situation, but the shims are not all the way in. This side's not that bad. This side's probably fine. This side, the one shim is kind of sticking out, and I don't want to like force it, but all right, so with some more persuasion, I was able to finagle the shims in there, so they're kind of sitting flush. At this point, we can put the caps on. One thing about the caps, one side has a bit of a taper. You should be able to see there's a chamfer here. The other side, it is just a straight up 90 degree. The chamfered side goes to the outside, so it's, and there's also a little bit of a kind of a taper here at the top. That also, you know, that kind of helps you know which way to orient these. So that goes to the outside. So I'm gonna pop these in, and we can torque them down, and then we can do our checks to see if the diff has the right backlash and stuff. So they are 65 to 72 foot-pounds, so I'm gonna go and get a torque wrench. Okay, so now that everything is bolted in, we're going to go ahead and check our backlash and our gear engagement. Now, to check your backlash, you can get the easiest way to do it is to get a magnetic dial gauge, which we have here. Here's the magnet, just popped onto the diff there. You want to get this probe on the dial gauge as kind of tangential to the ring gear as you can. You can see it's kind of perpendicular to the ring gear teeth. We've got it at an angle there. Spec for the backlash on this differential is 0.03 of an inch all the way up on the loosest end, excuse me, to 0.06 of an inch, so 3 to 6 thou. You want to check it at various points on the ring gear. You can do it like four different spots every quarter, you know, of the ring gear. You would check it. I've gone ahead and done that. So check this out. You know, we've got our dial gauge zeroed out here. Tap it to make sure. Lightly rock that ring gear, hear a light little clunk, you can feel it with your fingers, and we're getting, in this case, in this particular spot, we're getting 5.5 thou, which is within spec. Interestingly, in another spot on the ring gear, we're getting 7 thousandths. That's the highest backlash value that I could find, which is obviously out of spec. It's a little too loose. And then in another spot, the lowest value I found was 4 thousandths, which is on the low end of the you know, tolerance scale there. So kind of odd. We're getting a lot of variance. Not sure what to make of it. We're really very close to being in spec, even with that 7 thousandths of an inch of backlash in that one particular spot. But I think we're going to roll with it. It's not ideal, but I don't really know what to do, because in another spot on the ring gear, we're within spec. We're actually almost too tight. I did check the run out of the ring gear. That's another thing that you want to check. You put the probe here at a 90-degree angle, so you put it up against this flat face on the side of the ring gear here to check to make sure that the ring gear is trued up in this kind of plane like this here. The tolerance on that is 2 thousandths of an inch, which we are within spec on. So it's not like the ring gear is deformed at all. The differential isn't deformed. You can also check on this face here. So every sign that I'm getting is pointing towards maybe the pinion. There might be a little bit of a deformity there, but again, we're so close to being in spec, and it's only on one spot of the ring gear, being at 7 thousandths. We're just going to roll with it. So anyway, I think we're good. Now we're just going to go ahead and check our gear engagement, and let's see how to do that. Okay, so now it's time to check our gear engagement. I've got some, it's called marking compound in this tube here, and you brush it onto each side of a couple, teeth on the ring gear. And what this is checking for is how the ring gear meshes with the pinion inside the diff. You want to make sure that that engagement is kind of centered along the teeth on the ring gear, not too shallow, not too deep. You don't want to see the mark, I guess the indent on the marking compound too far in, too far shallow, one side, the other side, laterally across the tooth. So anyway, got my marking compound, gonna brush it on, and we'll see how it goes. I think that that's probably good enough. Now, the nice part about this marking compound is that it can dissolve and mix in with the oil. So we don't have to disassemble everything to clean off the pinion gear after, you know, the marking compound kind of gets, you know, what am I trying to say? Gets painted onto the pinion. So we're good to, you know, just kind of wipe it off of the ring gear here. Goodness gracious, my brain isn't working today. So anyway, let's get a couple turns through here going each direction, and we will see how it looks. Let me give you guys a closer look here because I personally don't really know what I'm looking at. So there we go. You can kind of, I don't really know. You can kind of make out the engagement. It seems to be very much, very close to the inside of the ring gear. That's hard to tell though. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm looking at. The mystery of differentials, am I right, guys? Let me try something else. All right, it's probably hard to see, but we're gonna try Vaseline as a gear marking compound. This will work just fine in terms of it dissolving completely in the oil, but it's probably gonna be pretty hard to see the engagement, but I kind of caked it on there in between the teeth. We'll see if this gets us a different result. So, it's really hard to see, but from what I can tell, it has full engagement kind of across the entire tooth there. And it's right smack in the middle, you know, kind of laterally there. So it's not super conclusive, but it's pointing in the right direction. We're going to go ahead and say that that is good to go. I think there's really not much I can do about it. We didn't change the pinion depth or anything. The only thing that changed was the differential itself. So with the ring gear and everything remaining unchanged, I think we should be just peachy. So with that, I'm going to wipe this down and we can go about getting this thing filled up with oil and throw it back in the car. So let's heck and do it. I lied to you guys. Before we actually put this back together, there's a couple of new hardware pieces that we're going to be putting on the diff cover here. We're going to be putting on new fill and drain plugs. So I'll put the part number up on the screen there. And we have a new breather vent as well. So that is going to be what we're just popping on here. The drain plug is already out. We just need to remove the fill plug. Yeah, then we just need to put this new breather vent on. We should be good to go. Woo, that's on there. Oh, I just like nearly stripped it. Oh my gosh. That's not normal. I'm gonna get eye protection. I don't understand. Oh, let's hecking go, boys. That's what I call ugga-duggas. Oh, no way! Hopefully this is the easy part. Here's the new breather. And to install it, just take an extended socket that fits over top, kind of rests on that shoulder there, and we should be able to just tap it right in. My ears are ringing. It's a fill plug. All right, now we can put the half shafts into the differential. This is pretty easy, you just hammer them right back in. We're going to take our nice OS Giken gear oil and just kind of lube up the shafts here to make it a little bit easier for us. The one thing I wanted to note is that if you are specifically using the OS Giken LSD, you have to have open differential half shafts. And just so everybody knows, these half shafts are different sizes on the left and the right side. So make sure that when you take these out of whatever your, differential is that you're getting these from, you label them. So these are for the left side and these are for the right side. They're just a little bit different heights and there's different positions of where the seat clips go that are inside the differential. But I won't get into all that nonsense. We're gonna oil these up and hammer them in and hopefully, fingers crossed, they go in no problem. So let's get going. Oh, okay, there we go, there we go. All right, guys, now is the time that we can finally put our back cover on. Now, if you really want to do this properly, there is a gasket for this, this back cover. I'll put the part number up on the screen, of course, so we'll have that. But a lot of people end up just putting a little bit of RTV, a very thin layer, not a bead, but you kind of, you know, thin it out with your finger on the cover here and the mating surface on the pumpkin. You use, I believe, 14 to 17 pound-feet of torque on the cover bolts there, which I have right there. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put down our RTV and then we're gonna seal this puppy up and then we can add our gear oil. So very exciting. Let's partake here, shall we? At this point, we actually have to let the RTV dry and then we can fill it up. So I will be back tomorrow to fill it up with oil and then we can install it in the car. Oh, yes. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Going in. Jack is officially not needed. Now we just gotta tighten up our front bolts and our rear nuts back here. 80 foot-pounds is the number we're shooting for, so let's get it. I'm not doing well, guys. I came in out of frustration. Two of our studs on the rear diff cover, not the stud itself, but the nut stripped on the stud. I was able to get one of them out. You can see the stud that goes, you know, the part of the stud that goes into the diff cover is fine, but the nut, it's on there. The other one, the nut is just spinning. I can't get it off. So, frustration, frustration. I'm gonna get a nut splitter tool. And when that arrives, then I can get the nut off and then I can just vice grip, hopefully against the stud, and then get that out. So that's what I'm up to. Frustrated, but not defeated. All right, guys, it's a week later, but I finally got the nut splitter tool. Then I can take the stud out and then I can replace the studs. So let's see if this works. All right, hard to see, but there's our nut. This is gonna be slow progress, goodness. Well, guys, I'm not sure if you can see, but we got it off. I mean, that is beautiful, and it only took me like an hour. All right, so now that that's off, I'm gonna take some channel locks and see if I can't just wrench off the stud there, and we should be good to go. So let's give it a try. All right, took forever, but here is the mauled up stupid stud that is stripped. What are we replacing it with, you may ask? Well, not with another stud, with some bolts. Now, these in particular are M10 by 1.5 pitch bolts. They are 20 millimeters long. The thread's 20 millimeters long. Then what we're gonna do is start up the car, which I'm kind of nervous for because it hasn't ran in like 6 months. And we're gonna just go through some of the gears with the car jacked up so we can listen for any funny noises, see if anything leaks, and then we're gonna go do our break-in, which is figure eights in a parking lot for like 20 to 30 minutes. Now, the OS Giken, it states that you don't need to break these diffs in. I guess you don't have to. We're going to do it just in case so that the fluid gets spread throughout the clutch packs evenly. Say that 5 times fast. So yeah, let's get to bolting these up. All right, I'm an idiot and forgot to film myself torquing them down, but you can see our bolts are in there. So now it's time to run the car and see if anything makes any funny noises. Battery's dead, even though it's been on the charger for a long time. Yeah, I'm gonna jump the car. Well, I got a brand new battery. Let's get this puppy started. let's go, guys. See if this was worth the effort or if I just wasted 3 grand or however much the diff was. I kind of forget. 1 grand, 2 grand. All right, buddy, I'll see ya. I'm really nervous. Sorry, the camera's really not in a good spot. So let's head to the parking lot. We'll see what happens. Okay, still very nervous. Well, it's like 15 minutes later. I'm very dizzy. Still doing my figure 8s like a good boy. No funny noises, which is awesome. Oh wow, this is hard. No like drivetrain slap or slop, which is really good. And I think in a couple more minutes I'm gonna take it out on the road and see if it makes any noises while we're kind of out and about at higher speeds. So we're cruising at a steady like 35, 40 miles an hour. No funny noises, knock on wood, to report yet. I'm still nervous, but things seem to be going exceptionally well, which is surprising because this car gives me problems all the time. So guys, I've been driving the car around for a couple of days now, and I'm very happy to report that I have seen no issues come up so far. In fact, it's almost as if the diff isn't even there at all, which is awesome. At least it feels like nothing has changed from the stock diff to the new one. So no extra noises, no, tire chirping during really tight turns, nothing like that. So that's really, really exciting. I did test to make sure both of the wheels lock up properly, and they do. So that was really, really cool. That we're gonna have that reliability when, the tires start to spin, that both will spin instead of just the one. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking because I feel like I've talked a lot during this video. If you have any questions, please throw them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them because I struggled through this differential swap so that you hopefully don't have to. But again, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a long video, so if you're here at the very end, it means a lot to me. Thank you guys, take care.